So you wrote in, you were unfairly dismissed, you won at the Labour Court, and now this firm is asking you to come back. This is what I think you should do. Okay, so on the back of our request last week to email me any questions, any queries, any horror stories, any highs or lows that one has had in the legal job market or legal job search market, we got quite a few responses, which was excellent. So please keep them coming in. And what I wanted to do was actually just pick a couple out and actually give those as an example and my answer to those professionals. What was also very nice to see was also that they were coming in from all corners of Africa. We had one from Nigeria, we had a request from Kenya, and a couple from South Africa as well. So please email me. You will get a response. I will give you the best advice I can possibly give you. But what really struck me about the four examples I'm going to give you is that these are issues that everyone I think would have faced, and they were really, but they were also very specific. So it was kind of generic specific, if that makes sense. And I thought each of them were, I could clearly see that the professional who'd written into me had was really something to tackle. It was really, they weren't quite sure how to handle it. The first one was by a young gentleman who wrote in, and he trained under a specific partner at a specific firm, market-leading law firm, and they'd then gone to Europe to work for a while, and had come back to his home country and had reached out to his former boss and said, "I'm back and I'd like to work for you again." And the partner, director of the law firm, had said, "That sounds great, we should get together and have a chat about it." And then I think the issue came is he hadn't heard back from the director and the partner rather, and then waited a week or so, and then sent him another email, and then waited another week, and then sent him another email. And the question I had I was given was, should I continue to follow up? Am I, do they want me? What's going on? And my first piece of advice was, you have to take a step back for a moment. You have to think your job search is front and center in your head. But the person you're writing to, it's not front and center in their head. I've had many examples where I've been recruiting for a role and I've seen someone I really like, and then life and work just gets in the way. So that getting back to that person kind of slips away, and before you know it, it's Friday, it's another week, it's another weekend, and another week's gone by. So the question I was given was, should I continue to follow up? And I thought, well, actually, you might end up starting to become a little bit, it might be perceived badly, you might be hassling. So my advice for this particular lawyer was, look elsewhere, look at other opportunities, look at different places in the marketplace. He knows you want to work there, he knows that you're available, and I just think, if you keep following up and asking, then you might become in danger of starting to become a hassle, and then you don't want to be looked on negatively. So that's my advice for that one, is a couple of follow-ups, then start looking elsewhere. The second one was from someone in South Africa who had explained their career path, and there wasn't anything outrageous in there. They'd progressed quite nicely, and they'd worked for a law firm. And I didn't go into too much detail, but they had fallen out with the director and was, I think, let go or fired from that position. This was a few years ago. Unfairly dismissed. So for those of you listening overseas, there's a Labour, I suppose, a Labour court here called the CCMA. And this particular person had taken that firm to the CCMA and won. It's not a pleasant experience, I'm told. I've never had to do it myself, but I'm told it's not a pleasant experience. You're basically saying, you've unfairly dismissed me, you owe me money. It's not nice for the person, it's not nice for the firm. But you know, in this case, this particular person won. Now, fast forward a few years, and that firm has asked this person to come back in for an interview and for possible employment. And the question to me was, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should go for it? Do you think it's legit? Do you think it's something that I should consider? And for a variety of reasons, I suggested no. Well, not no entirely, but again, keep your options open. Ultimately, it's going to be his decision if he wants to go back in and interview with this firm, with the same director that had been found to have unfairly dismissed him before. But I kept sitting there, and I sent a video to the young guy, and I just said, well, I just cannot see why they would want you to come back in. I don't understand it. You know, there are, it's for a litigation position. There are a lot of litigators in the South African market that are available. Not to take away from this particular person, I'm sure they're very good. But there are a lot of options for the firm in terms of candidates that they would want to look for. And I can't get my head around why they would want someone to come in that they've already got rid of, that took them to court and won against them. I just can't get my head around that. So in that case, I actually advised the guy, again, look around, certainly out of courtesy, if they've asked you to come in, go in, but just really be very careful about what their reasons are for wanting you back in and potentially employ you again. And maybe as the interview process goes on, address the elephant in the room, address what might have, what have they put in that may have changed from last time. Now, the third piece of advice I was asked this week, and again, please keep them coming in. I mean, it's brilliant. The response has been phenomenal, and I really, really want to help people. Everybody's work issue, interview issue, it's slightly different. This is where a young professional here was looking for work, had come to us. We'd managed to secure her an interview at another firm, law firm, really good firm. They were very excited about seeing her. She was, by all accounts, very excited about going in. But then something was going on internally at her current firm, and maybe they got wind of the fact that she was looking and was potentially interviewing. You know, sometimes people can give off that vibe if they're possibly going to be leaving. And there was a variety of meetings happening very quickly within the firm, and lots of promises being made. So internally, despite the fact that she definitely had said, I want to leave, and was obviously starting the interview process with other firms, had her head turned internally. Now, it's worth pointing out here that it is much cheaper and less hassle for your current firm to convince you to stay than it is to have to recruit and train your replacement. I'm not saying that isn't always the case, but you know, most of the time it's something you should really bear in mind. So often when we found, certainly with the younger professionals, they're promised the world to stay. You're going to get this, you're going to get promoted then, we're going to give you this, we're going to build around you. I'm retiring soon, so I'm going to give you my practice. All of this, I've heard it all before, and very rarely does it happen, for one reason or another. But in this case, her head was turned, and she pulled out of the process very quickly. And one of the things I was asked was, you know, it was actually the day of the interview she was supposed to go to with the other firm, and you know, I was asked my opinion on whether that was too late, whether she should go in, what was my opinion on handling this. Look, I said, look, if you don't want to go in, if you've changed your mind completely, then that's absolutely fine. We'll pull you out of the process. But my advice to everybody, and to her as well, was, look, bear in mind, they've clearly got an impression that you're going to be leaving. They're throwing everything at you to get you to stay. It might not happen. So you as a young professional should always keep your options open, and keep looking out there to see, you know, what might be there. If you do intend to not go to the interview that you've promised to go to, you don't have to, but maybe give it more time than just the morning of, when the interview is going to be happening in the afternoon. Because ultimately, this is a small world. Every legal market we operate in is small, and you are going to get your, your paths will cross again. So my suggestion is, you know, definitely, if you're going to pull out a little bit earlier, so that your reputation isn't damaged and you haven't, caused too much hassle. And the final bit of advice I was asked this week, and again, it was by someone who was looking for some coaching and some guidance. Again, very senior lawyer, someone who has a proven track record. And this is something that I find very a lot in many different countries. It's not just on this continent, but across other places I've worked in as well. Just found themselves at the wrong firm, and was effectively being bullied by the senior management. And there was no let up. Ostracized out of groups, left out of WhatsApp groups, had fees removed from one column and put into another column so that they wouldn't be paid commission on it, was continuously told that they weren't doing a good enough job. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and this goes on for a very, very long time. My advice to that person and to anybody that finds themselves in this position is leave. Leave. There are lots of options. It's going to damage you. It's going to damage your mental health. It's going to damage your physical health. It's going to cause stress. It's going to cause strain. You've got to remember that you are a very good lawyer. There are a lot of law firms out there. And if you find yourself in a place that, look, there's always going to be places that we're going to work where we don't necessarily get on with everybody. That's part and parcel of life. But to be somewhere as a senior proven lawyer that you get bullied at, you've got to get out.